Artificial intelligence. When I heard AI when I was young, it was the movie. And when I thought about AI, it was all about the Terminator and taking over the world and the planet, and a robot intelligence was gonna do the humans harm. What I really didn't expect is what AI is today. And in this video, I want to talk about potentially, let's say, 12 dangers of AI today. Now, I don't want to fearmonger because I absolutely love using AI right now, though I haven't really seen the value of it that it's creating for other businesses just yet as an individual. I use ChatGPT quite a lot for business things and rewriting things and actually asking for specific meanings of words, or when I don't really remember a word that means something, I describe it in ChatGPT and it gives me the exact word I need, unlike Google that does not. So friends, join me on a little bit of a journey and discussion about these 12 topics. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's talk AI. So the first one is automation that leads to job losses. Now, the biggest market that I've seen that has substantially lost credibility, or at least lost lots of small businesses, is marketing consultants. Nowadays, you can throw in a ChatGPT API connection to potentially a whole bunch of articles on your website or other content, or even just generate a few words, and the AI will spit out, let's say, a blog post or a press release or a little bit of a marketing article that describes your product. Small businesses have been paying a couple of $100s a month to utilize this, and it has left a lot of marketing consultants on the back foot. Though I will note that some still have to manage the actual social media and posting all this content, and that really ends up being admin work. So AI is already tackling tasks. There's also going to be a whole bunch of animators that might lose jobs too. As 3D AI creation gets moving, things like generating a character to walk around will only require an animator to just freshen it up, make it sharp, because AI is getting to a point where it's looking really, really good. Now, the first people that we heard about potentially losing jobs are coders. What I've seen internally in my company, coders have actually been using ChatGPT and other systems to make their job faster, more efficient, and check their work without having to manually do it as a person, which has led to a higher productivity. However, to do this, you still need to have a lot of skills in coding because you need to be able to read, swap code, and do all that. So I don't think that's going away, but I think productivity is going to skyrocket. So are jobs going to start disappearing? I think small jobs that are remedial or repetitive are going to be taken over AI systems, but I think people with skills will utilize AI to do more, which might lead to less jobs in the future, but not necessarily anytime soon. The next one is the biggest one we've seen. Obviously, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and Facebook has had this happen to it, deep fakes. I'm sure you can remember the famous singer who's had her image posted in certain positions with Muppets, and that has led to a big backlash. But deep fakes have been happening for a long, long time before AI came along. What it's created now is a very easy and quick way for every man and his dog to do it. And that is very concerning. So, as you heard in a Dirt report, Facebook is implementing labels for AI-generated content. Now, my worry is that deepfakes are going to create political issues because you can potentially have some people say and do different things, and people are going to stop believing what's on TV, even more so than what people believe nowadays, which is going to get really, really bad. Fake news is just the beginning. And I mean that by literally deep fakes that are fake and end up in news segments. And we also see news.com.au pick up fake things from Reddit already because some of those people don't really check for sources. But deep fakes, I think, are gonna be the biggest challenge for people going forward with AI. Now, I put privacy violations on the list, but initially when I thought about it, I thought, yes, okay, of course, AI is gonna be scraping all the details out of your life through Facebook, through Google, through your browser, through your phone, and potentially know a lot about you. But people already do that. You already post your entire life on social media. Where I think privacy is an issue is when you talk to generative AI chat bots, when you speak to them and you say things like, oh, I have an idea for a business, and somebody might steal your business. For example, a lot of people have been using AI bots for things like dating or talking to a female robot that will talk back to you. You might say a lot of private things. In fact, you might start sharing things that you don't want the rest of the world know, but it's all going into this machine full of data, and that data will be available on the service for viewing from someone. Who? We don't really know. Is the company going to do that? A lot of businesses have blocked their employees from using AI platforms because of things like IPs. If these businesses put their code in, that's an IP, and then that gets out into the world, they're literally sharing it publicly because there's no protection for businesses. So AI companies will start creating these locked-in instances for special businesses who will pay a lot of money to have access to, use the technology, but not have their content shared out beyond. I think privacy issues are gonna hit businesses hard very quickly and very soon as more people use it. I call this one bias, and it's really created by deep fakes and bad information. ChatGPT and other systems aren't always correct. When people tell me about World War II or World War I, there will be some inaccuracies, and that has been shown day in, day out. They're not 100% perfect. And so when people generate articles and marketing content, or even a blog post on their own personal blog site, or a script for a video, they might not check the actual sources, and you'll start seeing content online that is actually factually incorrect. But because it's online and it's from your favorite YouTuber and they've made a video about the history of World War I, unfortunately, if that content is AI generated, it might not actually be 100% factual. It might have wrong dates for years, it might have wrong people doing different things. And as we move into this world where a lot of people are creating AI content, we're gonna have a lot less fact checking. And you thought fact checking in the last couple of years is bad? Wait till we have AI content everywhere. And I'm saying wait because it's not yet there. It stands out, but there will be AI content that you can't tell if it's AI generated content, from scripts, visuals, to audio, and of course, to characters and people. Next time you watch a YouTube video, that person speaking to you might not actually be real. That's a pretty big concern for Twitch, especially when you stream for money. Now, inequality. This is, I think, a bit of an access issue. A lot of people who haven't been using tech in general get left in what we call the digital divide. And this is more of a generational divide, but as people who are potentially on the lower socioeconomic scale, which is just poor without using fancy words, might not have access to technologies that teach them how to use things like AI. They might not even know about it, which means that those people who are able to use it, have trained and spent time, have access to this technology, are now actually being more productive, doing more and achieving more, while people who don't have access to it aren't. This may create inequality in the world far more than we already have. But it's going to be very, very interesting. I talk about the NBN a lot in Australia, where poor families don't have access to the internet, which bars them from using governmental services, bars them from education for their kids online, content on YouTube that might be educational. It puts people behind. Now imagine that at a scale that is much, much bigger. So speaking of markets, volatility in them. AI will disrupt certain businesses, which will cause money flowing in and out as people panic because a company is suddenly out of business because an AI company came out, a startup that has completely disrupted that business. I initially put this thinking going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But even today, we get disruptive companies who come in and create a new product that overtakes an older product that was more expensive and doing less, and now you get a cheaper product that does more. However, there is some volatility that AI can cause in markets, and that one there is quite dangerous, where it can potentially skew people's buying and selling of stock based on content it creates online. Imagine a website like Wall Street potentially tell the AI, create content around this company to pump up the price of this actual stock. And of course, that's going to create a lot of volatility. Now, big warning. You will see adverts about AI bots for trading. They do not work. They absolutely do not work, and it's a scam. It's been tested. AI bots have no better chance of picking the right stock than a monkey pressing random buttons on a keyboard. However, creating content and a message and buying pressure outside buying a stock, That is the problem, and that might create market volatility. Now, this one comes at the heels of a recent event where researchers provided AI the ability to control weapons in a closed-in environment. They decided to nuke each other, and that was it, the end of AI. AI was not afraid to use weapons. Now, as you can imagine, lots of movies have covered this. AI in weapons to automate battlefield fighting, battlefield warfare with just AI drones, robots, whatever it might be. That is a scary future that really digs into that first point I made, the Terminator. What's going to happen? Are we going to have AI that decides, am I going to shoot this person here and not shoot this person? Are we going to have AI deciding if these lives are worth the sacrifice of bombing this building? In saying that, not that we do that well today. You can obviously look up lots and lots of tragedies around the world, specifically even in the Middle East, where buildings get bombed and civilians lose their lives just for maybe 1 or 2 targets. This isn't something new. So, on the other hand, could AI bring about some fairness, or maybe put in some sort of controls to save lives by default? Like in iRobot, but that movie didn't turn out very well either. So, I'm not a weapons expert, I'm not a military expert, but I'm worried that at some point AI is going to jump into the military complex and create havoc. And this leads perfectly into my last point here. Self-aware AI. We're not there yet. Don't get scared. There is no self-aware AI just yet. It's all generative, it's all needing input and training, and it needs a job to do. I love AI for taking over menial jobs. I think that's fair. People should be able to do something more creative with their lives. However, a self-aware AI is going to create problems, not just in perception if the thing is alive, but also, what do you do with it? What do you let it do? Do you put it in a box and create this self-aware AI that potentially ends up hating us because we put it in a box in a cupboard and hide it away from the world? Do you let it loose? What will it do? Will it take over the world? Will it become the next government? That is a scary thought. So on that note, I'm gonna leave it there because self-aware AI is probably a whole video in itself. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!